Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Tutti tutti tutiru. Brum. Hello. It is Saturday, June 14, and this is Coffee and Headlines. What a pleasure to see you this morning, friends. Whether you're watching on Facebook or whether you're watching on YouTube, it is a pleasure to connect with you. And if you're watching later on in the day, it is a pleasure to know that you are watching. And I'm scratching my head, wondering, where is the rain? My friends that live in the mountains yesterday sent me messages saying, it's raining here, 30 minutes away from Libramiento, not even. It's raining here so hard that we cannot even go horseback riding. Well, it didn't rain last night. It didn't rain this morning. And I'm beginning to think that the rain is fake news. But no, it should rain today. I certainly hope so. If not today, tomorrow. But this is not about rain, at least not for now. Let us talk a little bit about what I found this morning to share with you. I have a few bits of information that seemed interesting to me, starting with more on this tree adoption initiative that the local government recently announced. Usually information trickles down, and this time around, I found out something that might be of interest to you. The planting of 5,200 trees is actually planned as a compensatory measure for the environmental damage caused by the Guadalajara-Vallarta highway interchange. So it's not that the government all of a sudden found all these trees and decided to give them away. This is just to stay in good standing with whatever laws that pertain to our environment are concerned. And this is also related to the ongoing activities to obtain the Tree Cities of the World 2025 certification, which will be evaluated in 2026. It is part of all the actions necessary to continue achieving this certification. So now we know. We still don't know exactly where and when the government is going to put these trees for adoption. As I mentioned yesterday, it'll happen at local plazas. So if I see a schedule, I will be happy to share with you moving forward. Now, I invite you to take a look at Los Muertos Pier if you can. The iconic attraction remains dark due to a lack of lighting, forcing nationals and international visitors to use cell phone flashlights to navigate safely. The situation has been reported for several days in a row by service providers and users of the coastal strip, and it has raised alarm along local merchants and hoteliers who warn that the lack of electricity not only affects the image of the destination, but also poses a risk to those walking on the elevated structure, especially at night. So if you have a plan of exploring Los Muertos Pier after dark, bring a flashlight. Now, here's a lofty intention, but a really good one, if you ask me. President Sheinbaum announced that as part of Plan Mexico, our country aims to become the 5th most visited city in the world by 2030, which would represent a 40% increase. Now, you're probably wondering, what on earth is Plan Mexico? And Plan Mexico is the plan introduced by President Sheinbaum and her cabinet that hopes to increase food and energy sovereignty, increase national production by reducing imports from countries without trade agreements, and strengthen welfare programs. a current breakdown in case you're wondering where does Mexico lie in the list of most visited countries. Well, France is in first place, followed by Spain, the United States, China, Italy, Turkey is in sixth place, and Mexico is in seventh place. So for Mexico to go from seventh to fifth place would involve a 40% increase in visitors, which is a huge number. But hey, we still have a few years to go between now and 2030. And it is nice to see that the federal government is strategizing for our better future. And I also want to let you know, going back to the rain or lack of thereof business, Tropical Storm Dalila has now formed. It formed at noon this Friday, which was yesterday. And according to information from the National Water Commission, or CONAGUA, this storm will bring very heavy to intense rain, sustained winds, and high waves to the coasts of Michoacán, Guerrero, Oaxaca, Jalisco, and Colima. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. Let's see what our weather forecast has to say for today. And let me bring it up. Um, Oops, where are you? There you are. Oh, that is timely. There's nothing like a good military parade to signal the final descent into authoritarianism. I have no comment on that one, but I will volunteer that it is 31 degrees out there right now. Humidity is at 68%, and our weather forecast says we're going to have mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 46%, a high of 32, and a low of 26. Then tomorrow, Sunday, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, um, a high of 31, a low of 25, and a 68% chance of rain. Let's hope that it actually happens. And then on Monday, again, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, and chance of rain of 86% again, a high of 31, and a low of 25. Why am I obsessing so much about the rain? I don't know, because it's due and it's warm, and it would be so refreshing to have some rain in the city. How do you feel about that? I am just ready for it, and I'm ready to go dance in the rain if it starts raining sometime this weekend. Before we move on to other things, I was so tickled yesterday. Let me tell you what happened. As I promised, I as soon as I was done with uploading our broadcast from yesterday, as I promised, I went and wrote you a little note that I sent via email to those of you who have been contributors of Coffee and Headlines, either by buying a coffee from time to time or by pursuing a membership. And this had everything to do with that dirty song that distracted me yesterday. And yes, it was filthy. It was, oh my God, here's a big word that I don't use frequently, but I should know better. Misogynistic. I think that is the word I'm trying to say. The song was vulgar, was demeaning, misogynistic, filthy, but it was catchy. What can I tell you? But the reason I bring this up is because so many of you, well, enough of you to keep me amused for the whole afternoon, were so kind to send me back links to YouTube videos of other filthy songs that I was not familiar with, some in Spanish, some in English. Excuse me. So I very much appreciate that. Let me finish clearing my throat. Hang on. Oh, that's more better. I also have an announcement. Early this week, we promoted this upcoming boat tour by Diana Boat Tours, and I remarked on how I thought the title and the description were funny and potty language, but very appropriate. And I mused on how much fun it would be to have Diana, the grand dame of boat tours here in Puerto Vallarta, to join me at the spotlight. And, be careful what you wish for. Since so many of you expressed your curiosity about getting to know um, Diana, I immediately got in touch with her, and she has agreed to join me on the spotlight this coming Wednesday. So I am so looking forward to sitting down and having a conversation with Diana Lacoste. For those of you that don't know her, she has been in Puerto Vallarta for 20 years, almost as long as I have. But she's been a part of the local soundtrack as far as boat tours are concerned ever since. So it'll be interesting to chat with her and find out how she has seen changes take place in the city since she arrived. And again, this will be taped at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work on Wednesday at 4. And of course, you're always welcome to join me, or you're welcome to tune in later on. This I didn't get a chance to get to yesterday. Thank you, James Bond, for making this possible. Ever since a James Bond film was filmed in Mexico City, featuring an enormous but fictitious alebrije parade. Well, Mexico City saw no choice but to institute one, and the city has announced the date of the next one, and this will take place on October 18 of this year. I've never been, but I have friends that have attended the alebrije parade, and it is spectacular from what I hear. And it is worth mentioning that there is a competition with big cash prizes for the best participants in this now iconic parade in Mexico City. I also thought I'd mention once again that the iconic guitar playing genius Pat Metheny um, is going to be performing in Guadalajara on September 20th. I've secured tickets for myself and for some friends, and I think we are going to do a music appreciation on Metheny's evolution as the musician he's become, sometime in August, because I think. The more I think about it, the more I revisit some of his beautiful albums, the more I think it will be fun to connect people with his music if you're not familiar with it. But of course, I'm getting ahead of myself. There are other presentations coming up, including this one. Where is it? Which is coming up this coming Thursday. I have a question for you. Are you familiar with these characters? If you watch this on TV, then you already know Michel Legrand. I may not be able to tell you much about what happens next here, but if you join me this coming Thursday at 5 p.m. at the Joint Boutique Hotel, you may learn a thing or two about Michel Legrand. And yes, that will be this coming Thursday. I am so excited. It's not even funny. Good morning back to all of you who take some seconds of your typing energy to wish good morning to everybody here. Thank you so much for that. Boom, boom, boom. Barbara, what happened? I'm seeing that some people are wishing you a speedy recovery. Oh, here we go. Ola from the University of BC Hospital, where I am recuperating from knee surgery. Bionics. I hope everything turns out the way you want it. And here's to a speedy recovery, dear friend. Let's see what else we have. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my goodness. Christy's going on another wort or wine acquisition road trip. I look forward to hearing details about this adventure, Christy. But more importantly, I look forward to seeing you next month when you visit Puerto Vallarta. How exciting will that be? Carla, what a pleasure to see you. As you know, our friend Carla has the Puerto Vallarta's Bus Museum. Qué gusto verte. Un abrazote. It is great to see you here. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, well, politics. Yeah, 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 yeah. Enough said. um, But there's more. Yeah. Thank you, people in Puerto Vallarta, for your support on No King's Day. What is occurring in Los Angeles is beyond comprehension. The fear in the LA community is palpable. You know, it is, it is, I don't know what to tell you. No, I do know what to tell you. This is what I'm going to say, if I may. Last night, for whatever reason, YouTube sent me two videos of President Barack Obama getting cravings at the White House, and all of a sudden saying to his security service detail, let's go for burgers. And he would just walk out of the White House, and he would be followed by this cavalcade of people, and he would just show up at places in the DC area and would go buying lunch for himself and for other people, and he would say hello along the way, and people would be amazed in the best possible way that he would show up. And that's the United States I remember. And 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 I'm going to leave it at that, because that was a good United States to remember. Yes, I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, let's see what else. Yes. Barbara says, thank you for your wishes for a speedy recovery. I am having physio today, and I'm keen to get moving ASAP. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed and really hope that something like this happens and that you recover well. I saw a comment from our dear friend from Argentina, Agustina. I saw this one, but I also saw a comment in which Agus said something about the rain dance because she can't stand the heat anymore. My friend, I'm going to challenge you to something. If you're still watching, in Mexican Spanish, we would say, hace un calor de la chingada. So it's fucking hot. So I'm just curious, what would you say that has the similar potency in Argentinian Spanish? What would be an expression that you would use? And we don't usually go there, but I'm going to acknowledge these. As a Los Angelino, I am so proud of my fellow residents with how we are standing up and fighting for neighbors, families, and friends. Sean, my wish is that you all just keep it pacific, civil, and respectful, because I think that's the message to send. Again, it's not happening here. It's not happening to me, but I've been following the news, and it is something amazing. Logan says, we got one of those quick 5-minute rain dumps along Avelina Fluvial last night, but it was one of those where you wished it hadn't rained at all, leaving everything far more steamy and stanky. Well, again, I'll believe the rain when it actually shows up. And with that said, I think, hi Paco, if you sent emails of the dirty song, I did not get it. Can you resend, please? Sherry, let me just make sure that you are still a subscriber. Maybe that's why you didn't get it. Other people did get it. But yeah, I'll make sure that you are. And if you are, I'll be happy to share. And with that said, this is what we have for today. I hope you have an amazing Saturday. Have a safe Saturday. If you are in places where that applies, have a wet Saturday. If you are in Puerto Vallarta, I hope we have a wet Saturday. And that's it. I'll see you Monday morning. Have a good weekend.